Hello, everybody. My name's Milan Starcic. Welcome to Freedom Rising, a podcast dedicated to empowering individuals on the journey to personal growth, lasting serenity, and freedom from addiction. Tune in and join the movement. Your journey to freedom starts here. We neither represent, promote, or demote any 12-step program or organization. We are merely souls on the path of recovery with the desire to expand our lives and experiences and share them with you. Hello, everybody.
What's up, guys?
Welcome to the 86th Recovery Freedom Rising podcast. I'm Milan Starcic with co-host Andrew Normand. Today's topic is peace and awareness, which I am stoked to talk about with you today. But could you share what this means to you, Andrew, and why you're happy to discuss this topic today?
Oh, I would absolutely love to. And I don't believe you. Would you say 86? Is that what you
86,
said?
that's right.
Bro,
I smell a century coming.
that is so incredible. Yeah, man. So, peace and awareness. I started researching those when we came up with those topics the other day, and I started realizing, peace and awareness in the context of addiction and spiritual healing, if you will, are two qualities that can change this journey for us. Finding peace and awareness are interconnected. As I started doing more research on it too. Addiction is more than just behavior, right? We learn that as we come into here. It's more than just behavior. It's a response to pain. As I started thinking about it, and so it's often a way to numb something deeper, whatever trauma, whatever it is that we're coming out of. So when somebody comes out of this recovery process, right, they're not just putting down a substance, or ending that harmful habit. You got to really look into, so addiction is fueled by chaos. The mind races, the heart aches, right? We need to find peace. We don't know what peace is. As an addict, I don't know what peace is. It's an unfamiliar peace. I'm so familiar in chaos that peace is kind of it's a lost commodity for me. Peace is something that is so unfamiliar to me that when it hits my plate, I want to run from it. Peace. But as I get into this process, and as I realize, and I start to realize why we're doing what we're doing here, and the real meaning to this whole thing, peace is not a luxury; it's a necessity. We need peace in this thing. We got to have peace, or we're not really doing anything. Because God, you got to be grateful. There's a peaceful aspect to coming off drugs, man, because we're so ratcheted up for so long that our bodies, like, what is peace, right? So it's how we find peace, what we define as peace, right? Because peace can come in long-term events, they can come in short little spouts, but it's how you're where you're at in your life to be able to receive that peaceful moment and then guide yourself to that peaceful moment. And a lot of that comes with awareness, right? It's the light that reveals the path, right? Peace is the soil. Awareness is the seed that grows it. You with me? So peace is where we cultivate our new foundation, and the awareness is the seed that grows what we need to get out of this thing. So I think it's really one of those things, like step one and step two, you gotta, that peace is what we're looking for, but awareness is that tool that we use, to interrupt that cycle. But it's about coming out of the conscious triggers, your thoughts, your emotions. I'm not just feeling, am I feeling anxious or am I afraid? It's one of those things where we got to be aware of the situation. We got to be aware of our part in the situation. Because if we're not, man, if we're just acting on outside, inputs, then, man, we're not gonna find our own peace. I mean, if we're gonna be trying to find peace because of a different situation going on, people pleasing, one of those kind of things, making somebody else happy because you think you're gonna find peace because they're happy with you. It's not how it works. So, that was a little jumbled, but I'm gonna throw it to you, man, because I know we're gonna have some good questions, and we're gonna be passing this thing around. It's gonna be really, really fun, man. And I love you, bro. I love you, and I miss you. Yeah, we needed this morning.
I definitely think we did. And hold on a second here. A little bit of adjustment from my last usage of this. So, peace and awareness, two things that I think are hand in hand. I didn't, you gave me the options for topic, and I'm like, let's put these two together. And I realized that was like a divine intervention at that moment. It was like, how could we not have wanted these two together? Without awareness, I'm like falling down a hill and occasionally slowing down because there's a bottom or something. But like, without an awareness of the tools of this program, of what actual, serenity feels like, of how to take a look at myself, of the power of surrender, I have no peace. Without awareness of meditation and prayer. And anyway, it's just I see it as impossible to find peace without some kind of awareness of a bunch of things coming before it. Like, I would say that awareness gives you a path towards peace. It might not give you peace, but it gives you a path towards peace. And I would put peace and serenity they're in the same meadow for me,
Amen.
and that peace is something that I had none of at the end of my addiction. Like, my anxiety was at an all-time high. I had no awareness of myself, the truth, like, I was so blinded by delusions. It was always driven by the more God, not by peace.
Yeah.
The God
Yeah.
of more, not the God of war. And I'm going to leave that right there.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I'm gonna get ready to ask you a question. But yeah, you're right, man. That peace is uh the only time I ever felt peace, true peace, when in active addiction is when I got that phone call.
Yeah,
When I got that phone call, my body went, okay, I can think straight. I can do okay. And that's how I know this is a mental disease too, Milan, because um the moment we get that phone call, let's say we're running out, or we don't have any more, we're starting to get into those withdrawals, and the moment that phone rings, we don't even know who's calling us,
mm,
and we feel better, don't we?
yeah,
Don't you feel at peace? You're like, that phone's ringing. You don't even know if it's the dude with your DOC, or you don't even know who that is. But the fact that phone's ringing and you put your feelers out there, your brain goes, okay, that's the phone call I need, and you get peaceful. We don't even have the drug yet.
yeah,
We don't even have the drug yet. We haven't even started. We don't even know who's on that phone, but we're assuming that that's who's on the phone and that's who's calling, and we're gonna go get our drugs. Um, that's how I know. When I was able to realize that put a spin on things for me, man. Where I can mentally tackle this thing. That's where we get into. We can talk ourselves out of this. Is what we're doing right here. You ready for my question?
I totally am.
What does your inner peace look like today, and how does it differ from before you came to recovery?
Well, before I came to recovery, I mean, I think I just said it, man, I had none. I had, like, peace was at an all-time low, and it was a real drop in any sort of frame of mind or state of mind in the last 6 months. Like, I was, when they say restored us to sanity in some of the steps, like, I was going crazy for the first time in my life. Like, I was just so exhausted, so worn out, so beat down, so full of shame, so full, like, there was just no awesome part or peaceful part left. I remember crying about having to leave the house one day. I was just so shattered. And so, comparing zero peace to now, well, you know what infinity times zero is. It's still zero. So I have infinitely more peace than I ever had in my entire life. mathematically speaking anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is now is that I have this wonderful thing I call my program, and that program on a day-to-day basis, it's like it sets me up for more peace and serenity in my future. It does the things that can bring me contentment and joy and ease instead of dis-ease, like my disease. And
Disease.
and quite honestly, like I don't live there all day. Like I'm far from perfect. I am a struggling person in a world that is on its own terms, like 100%. But, you know, could I relive yesterday forever? Yeah, I could. And I never could have said that before coming into the program. And most of my days are like wonderfully livable days, you know? Are like, if you put me behind it saying, should this have gone like that and this like that? Well, of course, fucking not. But because I'm full of bad ideas. But
Yeah.
when I could get out of the way and let the universe run and just step back and observe the beauty of the amazing synchronicity that it creates, that's when I'm going to hit the peace.
Mm,
You know?
let go and let God, right? Let go and let God.
Exactly. Like, man, I like my Harry God box is stuffed full of my bad ideas.
Explain that Harry God box. I have no. When y'all talked to you and the Iceman talked about that the other day. What? Please define that because I tried to
Okay.
roll with it like as if, but I
Okay.
have no idea what y'all are talking about.
So basically, this for anybody who's new to the program, right? You're going to look at step 3, turn your will in your life over to the God as you understood him, right? And by then, they've already snuck in a surrender. But, like step 1 of admitting you're powerless. But what we come to realize is that we're also powerless over all of our defects and shortcomings. And guess what? A really big one of them is expectations. So we sit there and look at every day like it's supposed to be something we're allowed to be the puppeteer on. And the reality is
I'm
that
with you.
the reality is that the world runs on its own clock. So as
Yes.
a concrete visualizational tool, this guy Harry, Harry, showed Bryant to create a little God box. So all the things that you think you could control, or things that are making you angry, or things that are setting you in the wrong direction of your day, or things you're doing even that you shouldn't be, and you know it, you write on a piece of paper and you put in that box. And once you drop it in that box, you're not allowed to think about it anymore. Why? Because it's not your will anymore. That box is God's box. You're not allowed inside God's little box, right? So then
What?
I took my box and
Hold
I
on.
changed it to Harry because it's like a hairy little God box. It's
That's
got all
what I
that
thought it was.
hairy
I'm
shit.
thinking this like dirty Harry God. I'm like,
But it
why is
is though. It's all the hairy
this?
shit that I would steer my life wrong about. So I write all
That's
my stuff. I like literally beside my chair at the kitchen table is this little box this big, and it's got written on it on every side, so you can't miss what it is. Harry God box. It's got a little slit in it, and I have a pen and a piece of paper. I write these little tiny things like I'm like everything today, and I drop it in the box because I have no control over everything today. It's just like so like while I'm having my breakfast, while I'm having my lunch, like I'm just like I'll sit down and I'll be like, whoa, something's bugging me, and I'm just like pen and paper. There we go. It's in the box.
Is it the same box that you from like the beginning that you have? Like
Oh yeah,
you've been
like
putting shit in?
no, I make small papers, man. I write.
Hey, so you have this little gremlin ass box sitting over in the corner that like when
No,
you
no,
put
it's
it in there,
proudly displayed on the table
I
because
meant
and
like when you put it in there, it's eaten up. Like it's done. Like that bitch eats it
like
up and it's
so
like
so Bryant said to me, he said, hey man, he's like, I went in 6 months after and I read my stuff to
that's my
see,
question.
and
Yeah.
he said, he's like, it was amazing how well those things unfolded beyond my wildest. And I said, but then that means you didn't truly give it away. You wanting to know, like
Yeah, that's that like
I'm never looking in my box. I'm gonna
bro,
burn this one when it's full, and then I'm gonna
bro.
make another one.
Bro, I think we should have a podcast on our Harry God boxes. Give me some time to work on mine though.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, it's funny. No, I'm just joking. But seriously, that's mind blown for me because that was my follow up question: is do you go back and revisit those? Do you burn it? Do you what's the process?
I'm not going back because I'm truly trying to make it that I give them away. So if I look at them again, it means that I still want a little thread of control and I want to see how that
So
worked out.
you can ceremoniously burn them in some kind of way, some kind of spiritual way or
Yeah,
something.
like I'm like when I can't stuff anymore in, and I mean I'm gonna bursting seam that thing. It's gonna be like a brick of
Have
little
a spiritual ceremony and
Yeah,
just let it go, man. Let it
yeah,
go.
that's right. We'll call it a
Oh,
surrender
bro, I
fire.
love you. I love Harry. I love the whole thing. I thought it was this weird Harry got box that I wouldn't want sitting in my room, and now I need one.
No, you need one in the car, one at work, and one at home.
Man, I love that. That's why I love this, man. That's why I feel better
You could
already.
start one at work, and everybody who's having something bad part of their day, just be
Bro,
like, put it in the box, and
while
they
we're
will.
doing this podcast, I'm gonna be over here doing arts and crafts show over here, doing my own little Harry got box. So,
I want to
all
put
right,
some faux fur on mine and have like disco balls and.
I'm gonna get a chia pet Harry got box. I'm gonna feed it, the little chia pets that grow the little grass on the side. Chia.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So, what does inner peace look like to me today, and how does it vary from before? Well, I hit on it a little bit, man. Peace was chaos in active addiction, man. All these peaceful areas that I'm finding now were complete chaos in active addiction. I had no emotional stability. There wasn't emotional stability in active addiction. It really revolved around a chemical, which revolved around me not having a fear of this unbelievable pain that I didn't want to come up against. So peace, gives me a calm emotional foundation. It reduces my anxiety, fear, and emotional vulnerability, really, if you will, right? My emotions, I talk about it a lot, where my emotions get the best of me every time. If I don't train my mind to be stronger than my emotions, I will lose every time in any situation that I'm coming up against, no doubt, 100%. So my emotions are a bitch, man. My emotions suck. So peace allows me to have an emotional foundation, if you will, away from that anxiety and fear that I'm used to sitting in, right? It's an emotional foundation almost. It allows me to almost, because we're all nervous people, or I was this nervous wreck in active addiction too, because it's just I'm wanged out all the time. So this gives me some kind of nervous system, calm, cool. It's because I'm overstimulated as an addict. I'm overstimulated. And so I come in here and I'm looking to slow the fuck down. And how do I do that? I come to meetings, man, and I see how other people do it. But another thing that I did not have in active addiction that I have now, as I have gotten some peace in my life, is I'm able to have space for healing, Milan. Peace is a place where I can hear my thoughts. I can't hear my thoughts when I'm not in a peaceful spot. When I've got 18 things running across my mind, I'm not focused on any of them. I think I'm taking care of all these things I'm supposed to do, and I'm not doing anything on any of them. I'm just worrying about them. Creating chaos, creating chaos. When my mind is in an environment of peace, there's more room to reflect on the process. You with me?
Yeah.
And to integrate my past experiences as a learning experience now, not to like keep them to beat me down with. We gotta go positive with this thing, man. We can focus on those differences and all the negatives, and we really have to lean into the similarities, all those similarities, because there's way more of those. I know they're uncomfortable, but there's way more of those. And stop concentrating on those differences, man. When I have a safe internal place to go, my external is going to be better too, right? If I'm calm and peaceful inside, it's going to reflect my outside. Because I find myself being really like wrapped up inside and really in turmoil, and then I'm trying to like put makeup on that on the outside, right? I'm trying to like outwardly project a good place. If I'm peaceful inside, I don't have to. I'm not like working on how I look like. Like I'm flowing with it. I'm letting God take over. You hit on this just before I started on answering my question. Look, when I think I've blown God's plan, he quickly steps in and lets me know I'm not that powerful, man. I'm not that powerful. I'm not that powerful. I got to roll with this thing. This world is moving all around us, and it's happening regardless of whether we want to be a part of it or not. You want to be in the painting on the wall, or do you want to be outside in the field playing the game? You know what I mean? Do you want to be in somebody's house on their painting in their wall where you can just move around a little bit, or do you want to go live, man? You know, if you want to fly in this recovery process, you got to let all that shit that's weighing you down go, man. You got to let it all go, or you're not going to be able to fly. You're also not going to be able to realize that you're chained down and have all those chains on your ankles if you don't keep moving, man. We got to keep it moving. You got to stay finding that peaceful spot. You're not going to find it and then just sit and rest. It's a constant motion. This whole thing is a constant motion, but it also allows me to have a more of a reduced risk for relapse, right? Stress and chaos are major triggers for me and most people. If not, then you're a better dude than I am. So cultivating inner peace through, you hit on meditation, prayer, mindfulness, solitude, it reduces those feelings of me being overwhelmed. So I'll pass it to you.
Love you, brother.
Love you more.
Just having a blast sharing time together today.
Me
I would
too,
like
man.
to give gratitude for the enrichment to my life that you make through having our brotherhood.
I love you, man. I get a lot out of our time together, and I cherish it, man. I cherish it. It's very important to me.
So we had to begin to make our peace. So we listed the people we had harmed and became willing to set things right. Why is peace an important part of your program, Andrew?
Wow, that's great. It's a great question. Peace calms my body and my mind. You know, it reduces my reaction on things, right? I'm not going to be so reactive if I'm in a peaceful place. Now I'm not there all the time. Like I feel myself right now in a peaceful place. Like as I'm talking about it, I'm in a peaceful place. And what that makes me realize is it goes back to my old saying where it's like, look, my words decide my focus. You know, what I'm talking about is what I'm focused on, which is another beautiful thing with this thing, man. Like we can talk ourselves out of this disease. And when I talk about peace, when I actively talk about how I'm going to stay a peaceful person, I become more peaceful. I'm teaching myself right now how to become more of a peaceful person. Right now, us doing this, we're going to want to do this again because this is helping us be more peaceful people. Right. And we're in a position to go, wow, this feels good. We're going to do this again. We're going to do this. We're going to do this 86 more times in the next 4 months. So yeah, it reduces reactivity and creates a space for healing. Awareness pops in there because it shines a light on the root cause, right, of why I can't feel peace. So if I'm aware of what is making me peaceful, I'm aware of what is making me in a chaotic state, I'm going to be more apt to being able to find that peaceful place. If I'm aware, I got to stay aware. If I'm unaware and things are just coming at me and I'm just like grabbing onto things as they come, then A, I'm just kind of going back to the old way of thinking, and B, I really don't have any direction for my life, and I'm really not looking for anything. I'm just kind of floating around in this thing, and then here's where we're gonna fall off the edge of this process if we're doing that. We're not just gonna sit back around here and in the back of the class and think it's gonna wear off on us. It's not gonna work like that. So today, with both of those things, they form it's like a strong spiritual, psychological toughness that I have today, man. I'm spiritually tough. You know, I don't have to go back into that old cycle of life. I can be free. I can have clarity and purpose in my life today with that. So that's a great question, Milan. Why don't you answer that? I'd love to hear what you have to say on that.
Okay, we had to begin to make our peace. So we listed the people we had harmed and became willing to set things right. Why is peace an important part of your program? Well, for me, like I've said it before, I've talked about it. There's a bunch of different philosophies about it, but there's the Four Pebbles meditation, and one of the things it talks about is, I am still water and I can see the world clearly is part of this meditation. And, without peace, I truly believe that my distortion and my responses are totally like trying to see through turbid water. You know,
Yeah.
until I settle down the chaos, everything that comes to me comes through that chaos. And that chaos is going to react chaotically. You
Yeah.
know, like I can never have a true reaction. I can never have a true picture of what's happening until I can bring that piece into my life. And and part of it is, like, I was, we listed the people we had hired and became willing to set things right. And that's just a quote from part of the literature that I pulled out in that. How do we know who we really harmed until we can calm that water enough to see
Yeah, man.
what we did and who we were,
Yeah.
and how do we know how to make it right if all our reactions are based on chaos to begin with? We not only have to have the clarity to see, but we also have to have that clarity to respond in a way that is along the spiritual principles. And that is impossible for me without peace. I've said it before, but man, having Tom on that episode, and that this is not a program of self improvement, this is a program of surrender. Number one life changing quote to me in this,
He's in the
like,
pool problems.
yeah, yeah, like,
I love that guy.
and quite honestly, it made me readdress everything about my surrender. My surrender versus trying to fix myself. That was, it's like trying to get enough drugs. You're never going to get enough
Never.
drugs,
Not
and
gonna
you're
happen,
never going
bro.
to fix yourself enough for you to be happy.
Good luck.
Like that's a perfect analogy right there, because it's like, what do? I surrender my addiction, and I also have to surrender my defects, because I have spent 51 years not being a specialist at defect removing.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm the worst person in the world, but this is where I got to live. And if I can't get peace, then I'm never going to reflect to the world the best part of me. Like, not, we're not broken. We're just tarnished. And we just need to polish our souls so that this love and light can shine outward. We
I
are
love it.
not broken people. We are tarnished people from years of letting scars build up on our heart that have slowed our flow of love down.
Give yourself a break.
Yeah, we just have to let the love shine out of us. And the only way to do that is to surrender this old pain that we're carrying, because that pain is filtering how you react to everything. Every
Mhm.
single part of your reaction is based on the scars that you're feeling things through. And to clarify that water, we have to do the surrender work,
Yeah.
you know? And
And
that
does it?
and that involves finding peace. However it comes to us. My peace is not your peace.
Yeah.
And my moments of release are not yours. But there are certainly enough options out there inside this program for us to build a recovery that brings us glimmers of peace, at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Hear about what we're talking about and find your own peace and lean into it, man. Like, the feeling is the same. You don't have to have that same experience I did, but the feeling that I'm talking about and you're hearing in my voice, you're gonna have that same feeling. You just have to you have to lean into this program.
Mm,
You got to be willing to take to hear it, you know. And look, you said we're not broken, and this is somebody told me a long time ago. Um, a lot of us look at ourselves as like broken crayons, right? Like we're broken crayons. But the last time I checked, broken crayons still color the exact same color that you want them to. And I remember back in the day when I
I
was a
don't think
kid.
that we're broken, dude. I truly am coming to believe that we're just
Well,
tarnished, man.
we're not. We color the same as everybody else, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
We color the same as everybody else.
Mm,
So it broken, whether you want to say it is or whether you think you're broken or whatever, you still
mm,
color the same. And then this process will show you that you're not only not broken,
mm.
you have survived through. You're like you're like that vintage crayon that made it through the fight.
I'm like the old sports car that's been in a garage a while that just needs a good tune-up.
Yeah, that car that you can't find anymore, the crayon that they don't make that color anymore, but it survived, right? You can use that color. It's what you make it, man. It's what, look, if you're looking for reasons why this thing is going to work, you're going to find it. If you're looking for reasons why it's not going to work, you're going to find it. You're going to find it. So
and I guarantee you'll get more peace if you are grateful in all moments.
Yes. And if you adhere to what he just said and you are not, we will refund that misery. I promise you.
It's on every corner.
Every corner, man.
You got a question for me, Mr. Hot Diggity Doggins?
I do, brother. This one, the first one I asked you based on the peace part of it. This one's on more of the awareness focused question. What's something you become aware of recently about yourself, your behavior, or your thinking that surprised you?
Well, okay, like I'm not going to just gripe on it all day, Mr. Andy Awareness, but and I'm going to be Surrender Starcic.
Surrender Starcic Trooper, come on, let's go.
Yeah. But I really realized that there was a point that I had decided that I was the one to work on my defects. And I'm admitting it to every single person out there in the universe. I'm not afraid that I was wrong. I feel blessed that I was given the opportunity to change the course of my recovery. Like now it is to me, it is a program of surrender. I needed that slap in the face from Tom's words to just remind me. I look back at things I wrote early in my recovery, and I had understood that that was the direction I should go. But being so self-centered, I felt like, okay, man, he's done the addiction part. Maybe I got some of these defects on my own. I'm like, he's kind of busy, man. Like I'll work on my anger while he puts a galaxy into play up there.
Don't want to bother him. Bother him.
I mean, I know there's a quasar you're fixing today. Like just hand me my anger and
don't worry about me. I got this.
I got the anger, man. And I got shit. And it has just like brought me to such a place of joy that I have successfully surrendered my addiction. Means inside my heart right now, I have faith that my defects can be surrendered. And it was today it was literally about the 7th step on the meeting I was just on before I came here. And a really a lady who I love on there who does great shares. I've gotten a lot out of her shares in my recovery. She's like, just because you are willing to surrender them and ready, that doesn't mean your higher power's taking them on your time. Just a gentle reminder that, but if you don't ready yourself for them to be taken away, if you don't give an inch for the universe to get their crowbar under there, then it's never going to happen.
No.
So you have to just kind of get ready. It's like if you don't put your trash on the street, it's never getting picked up.
What?
But the problem is the universe doesn't give you a trash day.
They're not hey.
So there can be some stinky bags with flies and maggots out there.
Yeah,
that you're ready to be.
Hey, we know you messed up, but hey, we got your backup trash universe day back in the back over here. No, it don't work like that. That's funny. That's a great analogy. I love that shit.
Okay, you're up, brother.
All right. So, So what's something that I become aware of recently about myself or my behavior or my thinking that surprised me? Not really that it surprised me. It's just, as I do step work, I start realizing things and when I find myself in that unpeaceful spot, what I've realized is I still find myself trying to manipulate things through silence. And what I mean by that is I don't yell. And sometimes, God, depending on what the situation is, I might get a little irate sometimes. We all do, but I shut down. Becoming, and shutting down in silence is just as it's just as damaging as going at somebody verbally or going at somebody negatively and loud, and shutting down and just completely pulling back and ghosting that situation is just as damaging to me and everybody in the situation, if not worse. Not worse. At least if I came at you, we can meet head up and be like, why'd you come at me that way? If I shut down and I'm gone, you don't know why I did that, or where I went. You could be worrying about me, right? Then we're pulling into, like, am I pulling on heartstrings because you think like I'm hurt now and I'm just not talking to you? Like it gets off. We get off track quick. And when that ball gets rolling downhill, as an addict, I still have that addict mentality, right? I have that addictive personality, and my disease will find any way to tap into it, into my healthy recovery man now, right? I'm recovery man, and my disease is like trying to tap into this armor that I have. So yeah, as strong, Milan, is there a more loving individual in these meetings that you go to? As strong as I am, as strong as my love game is, my shutdown game is just as strong. My detachment
Brightest lights
game is
cast
just
the
as strong.
deepest shadows, man. The brightest lights cast the deepest shadows.
And look, I'm aware of that today because I'm a man working a program.
Boom.
So I'm aware when that happens. I surround myself with individuals like you, Milan, and when I go missing, people find me. But I don't. So that's why I don't go missing, because I know you'll find me. I'm accessible today, so that's my answer.
I hunt you down.
I know. But I have people that will send police to my house, man. People in my home group, and like if I go missing for a couple days, like that, good luck.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Can't hide, man. You just got to follow the big love symbol that's or whatever. Love you, man.
Oh, I love you too. I got a question for you now.
Thank you.
Okay. Make me a channel of thy peace, that where there's hatred, I may bring love, that where there's wrong, I may bring the spirit of forgiveness, that where there is discord, I may bring harmony. How do you strive to be a channel of the universe's peace?
Oh, wow.
It's a big one.
Yeah. So, and I had went on into the basic text. I'm a literature guy, man, and I found some of the quotes as it deals to peace. Calming the storm within is what it is. That's what we're doing, is we're calming that storm within. Basic text, chapter 9, living the program. When we are at peace with ourselves, we are ready to enjoy life. That's one of those simple things, man. When we're at peace with ourselves, we're ready to enjoy life. Enjoying life in active addiction was, did I have drugs in my pocket? That was it. Transactional relationships. Addiction is the fear of pain. I didn't want to feel hurt. I didn't want to feel sick. I didn't want to feel like I was going to die. So addiction is such chaos, man. It's really loud. Addiction is a very, very loud chaos in your ear. It's restless. It never stops. The hearts never settle, right? Our hearts are consistently beating constantly because we're either doing some kind of negative thing. We're breaking the law somewhere. We're stealing from somebody. We're lying, cheating, stealing, whatever it is. But I realize now that I've been able to get some peace in my life, man, it's not just a feeling, it's a spiritual condition. Right, Milan? Peace is a spiritual condition. It is a spiritual, it's a spiritual place that I want to be hanging out at. The moment that we realize that we're no longer fighting life and that we have to feed that beast before we wake up and feed ourselves in the morning, that's your beginning to peace right there on a daily basis. Like when I wake up and I don't have to worrying about pain in my body because I'm stopped up because I've been using whatever your DOC does for you, dehydrates you, whatever that thing is. There's bodily impacts on us using, right? And I'll just leave it at that. Don't want to get too graphic. And knowing that I don't have to deal with that anymore, and I don't have to go to the well and feel and feed this beast every single morning before I even start my mental capacity in the right direction. Man, that's peace for me, man. Before I even start my prayers and my stuff, I'm at peace because I'm not a raging lunatic anymore. And the thing is, I wasn't a raging lunatic out like, punching holes in walls and stuff like that. I was internally a nutbag. Everything was inside, but you know, outwardly, and that's where I made myself even more crazy, because all that stuff I kept inside, and I kept this armored shell, and then outwardly I looked like I was the man. Like I had it going on. I was the salesman of the, you know, selling more than anybody. I'm crawling houses. I'm making it. I'm doing it.
Consciously separated.
And I wasn't doing shit. It was all just it was a ruse. It was a ruse, and just waiting for the ending date, right? Because there's an ending date coming. Because it doesn't just get better, man. The drugs, as this thing progresses, as you know, when you realize you're an addict, you start, and you can't just stop using the drugs. When we stop using, we have a big problem. We have a big problem. And there's a couple of times where before we get too bad, I'll keep it on me, before I got too bad, where I realized when I tried to stop even just one of the couple things that, you know, the few to several things that were a problem in my life, I was like, rut-row. It was a problem. I knew I had a problem. And it's not a good place. It's a very scary place to be. It's so scary that, God, it's like you're running from hell. It's like you're running from hell, man. I'm trying to think of a scarier thing to be running from, but hell seems like a pretty fucking scary thing to run from. Like if it's on your heels, I'd be running faster than if the police are trying to catch me, or it doesn't matter who's trying to catch me. If hell's on my ass, I'm out. I'm Usain Bolt. So I'll pass that to you. Or is it what is it my
No,
turn?
I asked myself this question.
Yes. I get lost. I love you.
I love you too. Make me a channel of thy peace, that where there is hatred, I may bring love, that where there is wrong, I may bring the spirit of forgiveness, that where there is discord, I may bring harmony. How do I strive to be a channel of the universe's peace? Well, you know, I like, my mom used to sing me this song as a kid. Make me a channel of my peace. And it's so like this little prayer really just kind of rings in my head, in my heart, you know. And I've always felt musically like a conduit. And the only way that I receive the songs is if I'm open to whatever it wants to send. And so that to me shows me that surrender works in all aspects of my life. And so I need to just make myself the best channel for peace to flow through. And that's not going to happen if I'm not rested, if I haven't eaten right, if I'm not exercising. Like if I'm hating myself, there's a good chance there's a filter of hatred on my channel versus peace. And so it's about, you know, getting my prayer right, my meditation right. And I'll tell you, number one, I have gotten such peace recently from service. You know, I've been reading, you know, the big book again with the sponsee page for page. And man, those moments of just diving deep into it and having like the discussion after every page, like we're not going for speed, we're going for distance here. You know. And I'll tell you, like anybody who really wants some joy and some serenity in their life, put yourself to service. There's going to be nothing more rewarding. There will be nothing more rewarding than helping somebody else. And you know, and if service isn't giving it to you, then do more, because you just haven't, like you just haven't done service for service sake. You know, like if you're doing service because you think I'm going to give you a gold star for service, then that's not service. Like,
service is not co-hosting a meeting either. So there's lots of services. Just there's lots of ways to be of service.
I'm telling you right now, like my biggest service in my life is to my family. Exactly. You know, it's got nothing to do with NA or AA or any of the AA 12-step things I'm involved with. Because why? If I'm not starting my service at home, then I'm like faking I'm faking my spiritual orgasm on the rest of the world. I'm just like, whoa, look at me, fancy cum machine.
And then when I come home, no more. No, none of that. Look, I
Yeah,
come home and it's like none
that's
of
not
that. No,
it.
no, no,
No, and you know, my first service is being straight because it's the only chance I have of being of any service to anybody. Because my idea of being in service when I was in my addiction was so delusionarily people pleasing and self serving. It was
no.
like I was making a karma bank, and you better mark down my niceness for later,
Yeah,
you
or
know,
else.
or else. That's right. So anyway, what I would like to do is where there's hatred, I'd like to bring some love.
Yeah, that's
And
beautiful.
to anybody out there I've had any conflicts with, I love you and I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. I love you said hit on a lot of good things that I was really resonating with, man. So my heart was connecting with you, man. I love you, man. All right, so you ready for a question?
I certainly am.
So, what is something that you become aware of in your recovery that brought you deep healing or relief?
Well, I would okay, brought me deep healing and relief. Okay, first of all, my first surrender, stopping that addictive part of my brain, to anybody who's new and out there, the admission that you are powerless and that your life has become unmanageable. It's not defeat, it's surrender. I'm giving away that fight will free your soul and your mind in a way that I call it the Jedi mind trick of the fucking program. Like it's like there are no Wookiees, but
Luke,
yeah.
I am your
But
father.
the truth for me is that you know um, on the awareness, it was the tools to go into the step work, like the actual. And I'm not talking the step working guide. I have nothing against the step working guide, other than some people think they like, oh, I did 99 questions, I'm give me a check mark, and I don't think that that's how it's supposed to be. It's like it's supposed to did 99 questions. I have awareness, but what I really
That's
think,
exactly right. Learn those spiritual principles, not all that
yeah,
other shit.
yeah, but doing like a well charted out step four, like pretty much like it was originally designed in the old days. And, you know, that tool brought more awareness to the truth of my reality than any other thing in my entire life. And being able to then see my part in my life meant that it was no longer your fault. Like Bertrand Blamelito had to leave town and Surrender Starcic had to show up because Bertrand Blamelito, like he had no chance of survival in the face of the truth.
Blame
And
Alito and Flame Alito.
Blamelito burned right out, man.
Burned in Flame Alito.
Big bad Blamelito. Busted, brother.
Like, we ain't like that guy, man. Screw
I
that
didn't like
guy.
no Blamelito. No.
Yeah.
But the truth of it is that I've never had more awareness brought to me than by the program of action described in these 12 steps. So, anybody new out there, in my humble opinion, this is a program of action. It does require work, but with honesty, open mindedness, and willingness, you're well on your way.
Yes. That's the how of this program, guys. HOW. Honest, open mindedness, and willingness. And look, we said this on the last or a couple podcasts back. There is no way to peace, Milan. Peace is the way.
Yes.
Peace is the way. So yeah, let me answer that question then. What is something I've become aware of in recovery that brought me deep inner healing and relief? Um, this is really cool, man. This is and me being tapped into my love channel today. I used to equate love with chaos. I used to equate love with chaos, right? Um, and I felt like if I didn't have chaos, there wasn't love, right? Because there wasn't it wasn't like I was important enough for somebody to be in a chaotic state about me, right? Like that's my disease, man. That's my disease where I'm like, hey, if everybody around me is not as wanged out as I am, then they don't love me, and I don't love them. And then it's like, yeah, we got to use drugs together. Then when you use drugs together, whatever, it's like, hey, we're okay. We love each other, or whatever. If it's a woman, or if it's just if you're guys, like, love you, bro, because we're high. And we could come on a podcast straight as an arrow, man, right now, and clean as a motherfucker, and be maybe. And I am more joyful now than I've ever been laying up on a sofa with somebody after using a DOC, man. And I can go walk into the police station and have a conversation with a policeman because I want to.
I got
You know
like
what I
a
mean?
couple
Like,
friends now. Like I'm like, hey, I'm like,
yeah.
yo.
I have patients at my. I have patients that like there's like 4 or 5 of the up and coming Virginia Beach policemen that just got through the academy and just graduated, and I've sold them the same kind of glasses that I have, and they're out there patrolling the streets in looking through the eyes that where I swag them out, man. I have swagged them out, and I have cop friends now, like that. They come in there and they like, "What's up, man?" You know, the judges are mad because it looks like sunglasses because I put them in the dope like lenses that are all mirrored out and all that because they look like what is it? What is that state? What is that?
Aviators.
Yeah, aviators. But it's like that movie where it's like or do the schnozberries taste like schnozberries? What is that? What is that movie? Super Troopers. You gotta watch that if you haven't seen that, bro. It's so funny. Anyways, do the schnozberries taste like schnozberries? Anyways, I'm gonna answer my question. Yeah, I can continue it. So that insight of realizing that because y'all showed me that love did not mean chaos. You know, I used to be so comfortable in those drama filled discussions, you know, people are talking behind people's backs and stuff. I no longer I remove myself from those situations. You know, when I used to see people gossiping and stuff or at work or whatever it is, you know, whatever for the past 20 plus years, I would try to run over to that group and try to be a part of it because I felt like I was missing out on something. Now I'm like, what was wrong with me? I don't want to know why do I want to go over there and get in some shit that's not even has nothing to do with me just because I want to know because I want to be all knowing of the dumb shit. Like no, come on, man, that's my disease again. And so that insight would allow me to let go of toxic relationships and stop seeking that drama out. You know, healing came when I realized that love became a safe, calm place, not an explosive place. You know, love is not in a negative sense, love is not explosive. In a positive sense, love is the most explosive drug, the most explosive anything you can have. It's the most powerful word in the world. That's why I win the acceptance love thing. That's why we're not ever going to tug of war ever again because love is the most powerful drug, most powerful word. It is the most powerful emotion. It is the most powerful spiritual principle, and it's one of the only two that we can give to each other. And I love you.
I accept you so much, I won't argue about it.
I don't even have to forgive you about it either.
Woo. Okay, you ready for a question?
I was born ready for questions.
Okay, so awareness creates a foundation for new ideas. Life provides opportunities to put that information into action. Adapting to new information can take time. Awareness that we are in possession of a precious gift changes how we see ourselves and our world. We experience grace. Describe how you see the relationship between gratitude and awareness.
Wow, it's that's a great question. I love your questions, man. So I'll say this. Basic tech step 4, we begin to see ourselves in a new light. The awareness that follows is a gift. Awareness is the foundation of change. Awareness is the foundation of change. If you think you're going to change without being aware of what the hell's going on here, you're not going to. I can tell you that's not going to work. And so our pattern, you know, awareness of our patterns, our character defects, you know, we have a step working process. We literally take our character defects and we work on the opposite of them. We say, hey, if we're late people, we're going to work on being early. You know, if we're
That's
you
a
know,
bold statement right there.
you know, it's a bold statement. I'm holding myself to the fire because that is the number one thing that I have to work on in my program
I
is
was
being
like,
late.
man, I'm
Bro,
like sliding into home
hey,
plate moment.
and I don't know how long we've got, but we can sit here and talk about how I've been working on that. And look, I go through these rounds where I'll go a month or 2 at a time where I'm literally early. But then my disease comes in and I'm in this lull right now where I'm late to everything again. I'm fucking late to everything right now. Everything. And I know it's a cyclical thing, and I know as I work through my this process with my sponsor before, um, I'm getting ready to hit that upswing where I've started getting to work sporadically early. And I know it's going to roll into me being early every day, and then it's going to make things okay. But how do I stay out of that rut next time? Maybe I can. I hope I can.
Discipline.
Because I did true, but I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect. There's always things I'm going to have to work on. If I ever think that I've got the whole thing down, I'm done. I'm not. I'm done. And so, um, it's kind of funny. That's the first thing that I work on his program, Milan. So as I'm talking about this, I just kind of half black out and talk about whatever God wants me to talk about is on my mind, and that's the first thing that came out of my mind because obviously that is my issue. But if we have a problem with lying, we painfully tell the truth in every situation. You know, um, and so it's one of those things where we have a systematic process to work on those character defects. The fourth step, actually, we dig deep into our past and our patterns. There's that self-honesty, and that kind of self-honesty is painful at first, isn't it? It's very painful, but it's liberating, isn't it? It's liberating. If you do it honestly, it's liberating. And staying instead of staying stuck in that denial and blaming other people's, man, I cannot repeat those same mistakes. I can take accountability for my actions. And the spiritual part of our disease is our total self-centeredness. Basic text, step 6. I got a couple of those written down. The spiritual part of our disease is our total self-centeredness. Basic text, step 6. So it allows us to break that self-centered cycle. So I'll pass that to you.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that was great. Not only was it informative, it was amusing as fuck. I loved it. I loved it. Like you started off by kind of telling about yourself, and the reason I started laughing was because I'm like, oh, they don't know, but I know.
No,
I'm,
I've
I'm,
said it on this podcast. If people are listening to this podcast, I've said this
I
before.
know, but they
Yeah,
don't know it on a day-to-day
yes,
basis.
yeah, I'm a late. God, I hate it.
I know. I like sliding into home plate, Norman. Like
Yeah,
you make it the home plate.
I
Don't
do.
every
I
single
do.
time. Like you've
I
never
do.
skipped out on an event.
And I'll
Like man,
communicate too. I'll always communicate, man. That's a big thing is communication. But
yeah.
I skirt right in there, boy. But
Like the side of your shoes and the pants are worn out on that right side.
and I sit there, I'm like, I've been here the whole time. Been here the
You're
whole
like,
time.
do, do,
What's up?
do.
What's up? I've been waiting on you guys. What's up? What's up?
Yeah. Okay, awareness creates a foundation for new ideas. Life provides opportunities to put that new information into action. Adapting to new information can take time. Awareness that we are in possession of a precious gift changes how we see ourselves in the world. We experience grace. Describe how you see the relationship between gratitude and awareness. So, I think this one for me. God, this one for me is like one of the most impactful questions that is part of my current epiphany and process inside my recovery. Like I am experiencing, a greater desire to understand surrender, but also part of that surrender is this quest for serenity so that my surrender can be stronger, so that my acceptance can be stronger, so that my love is there, so that my tolerance is there. And inside that serenity, or what I would say is part of the turbidity or noise inside my quest for serenity is a lack of gratitude about amazing things I already have. And so instead of being in a state of gratitude for some of the immense changes I've had in my life, I'm crying for the ones that haven't. And it is something that I've literally changed the entire way I pray right now. The entire way I pray is digging deep on those little scraps of change that have occurred. Even if I am truly feeling the lack of them in my life, I have to give gratitude for that incremental change that has occurred. And I need to talk about it. So when I describe how I see the relationship between gratitude and awareness, it's that gratitude brings my awareness to all of the positive aspects of and growth in my life. And without it, I am going to be living in defects and shortcomings of dissatisfaction and expectations that things should be different. But when I push myself to be grateful, even in even in like a night like I had last night, I'm grateful my family member is alive through that experience last night. Not that I like lamenting that we had a tough night and so many things are going wrong with him. We all made it through the night alive. Like that is what I am truly grateful for today. And just being on the what I don't have side, I'm sick of that. Like that place is so uncomfortable to be in all the time. And
Yeah.
it's the easy place to be.
Yeah.
It's real easy to count your curses, not your blessings.
Yeah.
But when you dig for the blessings, it's amazing how many more blessings pop up in the garden of your life. And I'm
Yeah.
leaving that one there.
You got to be willing to find those blessings, man. And they hit a lot harder when you remember where they came from.
Okay, you got a question for me,
I
Mr.
do, brother.
Andy Awareness?
I do, brother. I do. So, what are some things that disturb? What are some things in recovery that disturb your peace, and how do you deal with them without using?
Okay, well, I mean, some things, I would say people, places, and things that disturb my peace, but how do I deal with them? So I'm basically, you know, a real strong proponent. I'm actually glad you brought up the Harry God box. I don't have to explain what that is again.
I
But the Harry God box right now, and if you missed the first part of this episode, then rewind because I'm not explaining it again. But but I just like literally have this in a nice functional place in my life. And I'll be like walking through the room. It'll be like, hey, there we
I'll
go.
have
Lean
one after
over. I
today.
write something on a paper. I'm like, before I even leave the room, I've left that thing behind. And it is, um, it is what my brain needed as a physical representation of turning my will over. I know that some people maybe got it a lot faster than me, and I've just got a weird way of learning, but like having this little box gives me something real that I can turn
Tangible, tangible. You can feel it.
that I can make the unreal visual for
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
And and so there's so much like that I'm learning. Like I had 100% expectations on everybody, everything, every time. Like people, places, and things. Well, I wanted things to look how I wanted. I wanted people to act how I wanted. I wanted them to want what I wanted, you know? And
Yeah.
then things like, man, so many things I wanted that I just don't even care about now. Like I have a couple things, and it's like I guess it's part of my surrender that's not complete, but I really like my home. I really do like my home, and it's one of the things I want to keep in this world. And
You mean your plantation? You mean your plantation in the
we
mountains up
call it
there?
Starcic Estates, okay? It's Starcic here on
The
Starcic
valley that you own
Starcic
in the middle of the
Estates.
mountains,
We grow rainbows and love.
and walk dogs and farm
Oh
and
yeah,
just love.
dude! We are already eating wonderful salad and mixed greens from our greenhouse. It's amazing.
Milan, I'm gonna be there one day. I'm coming to visit you one day. I swear.
I'm
You think I
waiting.
think I'm joking? You think I'm
Alaska
joking?
Airlines flies to Kelowna near me. It skips out of Seattle if you're ever coming. Like
How long do you think it would be to get from East Coast to you? Just
I
off the top
think
of your head.
like like driving. Or
No.
no, oh no. Okay, so flying, you could fly to Seattle and bounce from there to Kelowna. So it'd probably be like a 7 8 hour thing.
But I had to fly to Seattle. That's a shit show in itself. I'm going from one side to the other.
Oh, I'm like,
Wow.
yeah. No, no.
Wow. Anyways, so yeah, where were we at? Did I ask you or what?
You ask yourself the same question.
Okay. What are some things, Andrew, that just Andy awareness that disturb my peace, and how do I deal with those without using? Well, using is not in my wheelhouse today. That is not a part of my solution wheelhouse today. I have so many other things that I can do before I get to that spot.
Not in mine
Um,
either. Forgot to mention. Piggybacking.
I said it for you because you usually are the one that says it's not my wheelhouse. So, what does it say? And you hit on this, and I want to touch on this real quick. We used to, prayer to me in active addiction, and before I really knew what prayer was, we all had that foxhole prayer: get us out of jail, get us out. If there's a cop behind us and we got drugs in the trunk or whatever we're doing, please, please God, don't let him pull us over. Please God, please God. That's not what prayer is about, man. I pray today to keep the things that I have, man. I am so grateful for the things that I have, and I pray to keep those things that I have, because I can lose them like that. People don't understand the things you have right now. You want to pray to win the lottery and get this better house and all that. So you need to pray for that beautiful little house you're living in right now, and that you're not living under
You
a
need to
bridge.
pray that gratitude about it.
You need to pray to be grateful and to be able to surrender to the fact that that's where you're at today, and you're not homeless, and that's a beautiful thing. Right. So it's about perspective on that part too. But things that disturb my peace. I thought, and I opened this question up, and I'm a little disappointed in you, Milan, and I have to, not in a real way, but like, I was looking for some answers. I was looking for some things in these meetings that might disturb our peace, or something that runs across our table. And there's a lot of things that disturb my peace, bro.
I honestly went into today's meeting with this.
All positive.
I like literally, I did the meditation on step 11 that I sent you. I
Yeah.
went into the meeting and it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I just had a phenomenal time.
And bro, I feel great. I feel really, really great. But I feel like I would be doing myself a disservice if I don't at least say a couple of these
Yeah.
things, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm always positive with it. But I just see now that you said that, it's like it's shut down. I don't even want to talk about it now. I just want to be positive. It's like my guy just went, bro, you better listen to him. Keep it positive. Just to hit on a couple things, man. You got people that come in here and they try to use this literature as a weapon against themselves, and that really disturbs my peace, because this literature and these books, they're written for us, by us. There is nothing but they are nothing but positive. It is your mindset. If you think that these books are coming at you, if you think these books are like trying to condemn you or something, it is your mindset. I would stress you try to find a more peaceful mindset before you start saying that at a meeting level, because this is the thing: you're not going to create a new community if you're out here really bashing this literature that keeps us all together. If you're out here bashing this literature, or look, here's another thing. I'm going to touch on this really lightly, and then I'm going to move right past it. I really find myself in a tough spot when people. Okay, home groups, all home groups are different. They all have their own group conscience, right? And that's all voted on by the group. Every group is different how they vote on those things. But I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of groups out here that don't know what traditions are. They don't know what traditions are. And and I see it, and it really is, and it's sad. It's sad. My heart hurts, because people that I know might be a part of certain groups that this happening to, and it's affecting their recovery one way or another. And it's pretty sad, and I'm gonna leave it right the fuck there, because I'm already just wanting to talk about it for the rest of the time.
You gotta sizzle that down. We've now come to the lightning round time in this episode. So here we go, Mr.
Gotta do a jig.
That's right. When our inventory is carefully taken and we've made peace with ourselves, the conviction follows that tomorrow's challenges can be met as they come. How has your fearless and moral inventory given you faith that tomorrow's challenges can be met as they come?
Well, I have self knowledge now. I have self knowledge of who I am. What my part in things are. I have begun to recognize my triggers, my patterns, my coping mechanisms, what what I was doing wrong leading into it. Recovery begins with acknowledging the reality of the issue. I have to really come to terms with the reality of the issue, and I have to come out with that super courageous act and say, I'm an addict. I'm a drug addict, because I can't undo that. And then from there, it's about self-work, man. We got a step working process that allows you to come back to life and realize who you are today. It's through self-awareness that I'm mindful and present today, man. It's one day at a time. I'm in a one day at a time program. I have a daily state of execution, which means that I can put a halt on this thing just for today. And that's what I do, man. I throw it behind bars and I lock away the key, man. Love you. Pass
Boom. That was amazing. Okay, I'm just going to read. How has my fearless and moral inventory given me faith that tomorrow's challenges can be met as they come? So, essentially, I feel that I was shown through that process that no matter what I do, as long as I'm working, I can make mistakes, or I can have successes. But if I make mistakes, life is correctable. And if I have successes, great. Count those up too and keep on moving forward.
Yeah.
Like what I've discovered is that I don't have to be trapped in the fear of inaction. And I don't have to be trapped in the past that's making me just repeat bad mistakes. I can literally make mistakes, correct it, amend with other people, move on, and still be going in a forward direction. So you can't throw nothing at me that I'm not going to be able to come back from. Rocky 3, remember, go for it.
Dun, 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 dun.
That's
I
right.
love it. I love it, man. All right,
Okay,
so here we go.
lightning
Man.
round.
So how do peace and awareness work together in your recovery, Milan Surrender Starcic Trooper?
Peace and awareness work in my recovery like two brothers high-fiving in the basketball court. Like they jump up.
Alley-oop.
Awareness is giving me the insights to look back on my moments and to look forward on my moments and actually understand what is the right or wrong path to do. Awareness of the spiritual principles is giving me the place to put my feet down in the next step. And with that, that's bringing me peace. That peace is just clarifying my world for me one little bit at a time. Even if there's just glimmer of peace, man, I don't forget that shit. I come on here and talk about all the things, like the magical things that happen in my life. So those glimmers of peace increase my awareness. They're like a circle of growth. Kind of like, actually, no, let's make it a helix going up like a DNA pattern. Boom.
Love it. Love that. Love that. All right. So how can how does peace and awareness work together in my recovery? Well, this is simple, man. Look, peace gives me the stillness to hear what's going on. If I'm not in a peaceful state, I'm not going to hear the right path from the God of my understanding if I'm listening to the 13 other voices in my head. So peace gives me the stillness to hear what's going on, and while awareness helps me name it. You with me? So together I stay connected, man. Together with peace and awareness. So if I can stay still enough to hear my issues and my battles that I'm going through, whether that's mentally, physically, or spiritually, then I come to the awareness part of that thing where it allows me to put my finger on it. Then I can put my finger on it and I go, okay, hey, this is my peaceful spot. How'd I get here? And then what are the things that are taking me out of my peaceful spot? And then I can do that every time. And I can stay organized. I can do that every time. I can stay a peaceful person, because it's unfamiliar to me and it's not anymore. Love it. Love you.
I love you too. Our first step placed us on a path of awareness, connection, and serenity. We received much more than simple abstinence, did we ever? We've been given an endless supply of principles to guide us as we travel through our lives. Describe how awareness of the program has changed your path in life.
Bro, it changed everything. It changed everything. I was able to realize my part in it. It comes with self-knowledge. That's that first step. Awareness is the foundation of recognizing my triggers, patterns, and then the subsequent coping mechanisms for that. And then being mindful and present, it allows me to be mindful and present. It's the one day at a time thing. Awareness helps me stay rooted in the present instead of being haunted by my past or anxious about the future. There's no amount of anxiety that will change what the hell is going to happen tomorrow or 5 years down the road. There's no amount of regret that's going to change what happened 5 years ago or what happened yesterday. Any amount of gratitude changes the present moment. Any amount of gratitude changes right now. And that's what I do, man, as I stay grateful and peaceful. If I'm grateful, I'm peaceful. If I'm peaceful, I'm grateful. Those two go hand in hand for me. And I'm grateful to be here with you. I'm grateful to know you and love you to death.
Boom. I love that. I mean, I just love the love. Our first step has placed us on a path of awareness, connection, and serenity. We received much more than simple abstinence. We've been given an endless supply of principles to guide us as we travel through our lives. Describe how awareness of the program has changed your path in life. Well, I have to ditto on Andrew in that it has entirely changed my path in life. I went from dying to living. I went from just trapped in fear and shame and guilt to be able to let that go and actually like live guilt-free days. Like after 51 years of a guilt-ridden existence, the freedom is beyond me being able to use words to share with you. The things that this program has done is it has given me the tools to understand the benefits of actually living in unity with myself in my brain and in my actions. And that integrity is what makes me step forward with clarity and love and freedom in my heart in a way that I never ever could without them. So just remember, you gotta surrender.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah. And you need to eat before your podcast because your stomach is acting up again.
That's the dog.
I know. I'm just kidding. I love you. Is it my turn to ask a
Yeah,
question?
yeah.
Or yours?
Quick.
All right. So, how do you stay spiritually awake when life gets noisy or overwhelming?
Whoa. Repeat that one more time.
How do you stay spiritually awake when life gets noisy or overwhelming? It's kind of a peace and awareness and recovery
Yes.
question.
So it's making sure that my program has time in my day. Like
Yeah.
no matter how busy I get, I just can't cut corners on how I start my day and my service work and my meetings and everything like everything about my program needs to be bulletproof regardless of the day. And that's not always the case. But the one thing about it is that I'm not willing to sacrifice my program for anything almost right now. Like there's sleepless nights where yeah, I drag my ass on some shit some days, but I'm not letting my program go. And if I do, I pretty much will be falling back to death as far as I can see.
Yeah, not a question. Yeah. So how do I stay spiritually? I love that, man. How do I stay spiritually awake when life gets too noisy or overwhelming? Well, I go back to the basics, man. Prayer. I pray. I go to meetings. Write a gratitude list. I write through the pen. I see the light. So the sponsor says all the time, through the pen, I see the light. And then I reach out. I reach out to my support network. I have created an army of support network that are there. I mean, we travel like packs of wolves to meetings and shit, man. We just keep ourselves in the herd, man. So just noticing that what I feel is what I'm feeling, and that these feelings are not facts. I think they are, but they're not. Without escaping and numbing, you know what I mean? That keeps me awake, keeps me grounded, keeps me moving in that upward trajectory I talk about all the time. There's no way to peace. Peace is the way. And when I truly was able to understand that I'm building self-acceptance here, not self-esteem, I'm not a fragile person anymore. I'm a secure individual, knowing that I'm building self-acceptance today. I've gone way past that self-esteem part. Yeah, I'm gonna do esteemable things because that's the right thing to do. But I've got goodwill in my life today, and I got self-acceptance in my today which eats self-esteem for lunch every single day.
Beautiful. Okay, this is the last question. The awareness that we can always get better brings its own freedom. We can see the changes in our lives and in our thinking, and we know that recovery works for us. How has your awareness of recovery grown and inspired how you live your program?
Okay, well, like I said, if peace is the soil of this program and of this discussion, then awareness are the seeds. Right, awareness are going to be the ones that are growing this thing, right? Because we want to find that peace. If we find a big garden full of it, we're going to plant as many seeds of awareness into that peace we can, because we're going to be aware of how we got to that peaceful place, and we're going to realize the avenues we got there and the avenues that are going to take us out of it. It's about becoming conscious of our triggers, right? And what puts us in that hairy situation that gets our mind, that dis-ease way of thinking, gets it a little bit loud, it gets louder. That dis-ease gets loud sometimes. And so that kind of self-knowledge, Milan, is liberating, isn't it? It's liberating. Being able to focus, it shifts from being like, what's wrong with me, to what's happening inside me. And then we can really change at that point. I love you.
Okay, how has my awareness of recovery grown and inspired how I live my program? Well, my awareness of recovery was non-existent before coming, into treatment, and so my discovery of the freedom in the life that it offers has cemented my program into my days. It has made me have recovery fever. Like I'm burning up. Like I'm on fire. I'm melting down. I'm melting down from the recovery around.
It's contagious. I'm on fire now. Woo.
Like there is nothing that is going to put out this fire.
Stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop, and roll.
I'm burning with the sun of recovery fun. Like it's just, there's nothing about it that I'm like, this kind of sucks. Having a great family life, being free from addiction, living a better life, going towards my goals, having a great community, living life with friends who love me, that I love excessively, getting to share this freedom with other people. I think I'm done.
I don't even have nothing to say after that, man. You just, look, there's no way to peace, man. Peace is the way. Let's go. Let's do it.
And I need a piece of my peace to get my release.
Come on.
Yeah.
Jim Brown. Woo.
Yeah. Well, okay, I love you. And,
I love you more, man.
I've got to roll, but everybody, tune in next episode for more recovery fun, because we love you, everybody. We love you so much. Please help us help others. If you like what you've seen here today, please subscribe and share this podcast and help us get to 100 followers. We're looking for interaction with our audience. So please email recoveryfreedomrising@gmail.com or contact Milan South Okanagan Starcic on Facebook with questions, topic suggestions, or just comments. We'd love to hear from you.